Hey, what is up guys? My name is Marcus and these are 3 Canon lenses perfect for beginners under $100. So the first lens I want to show you is the Yongnuo 50mm f1.8 lens, which is basically a Chinese copy of the Canon 50mm lens. It uses basically the same internals and the same glass as the Canon counterpart, but at half the price. This one costs about 50 bucks and is really good considering the price. Since it's f1.8, you can get those beautiful shots where the background is all blurry, but the foreground is still beautifully in focus. I will say though that one of the downsides of this lens, also with the Canon lens, is that they're quite soft around f1.8 to f3.5, and they only become sharp when you go up in the higher f-stops. But if you're just going to use this for fun and you want a 50mm lens, this is definitely one to check out. The next lens I want to show you is an older Canon lens. It's basically an alternative to the kit lens that is shipped with most of the lower end to mid-range Canon cameras. Now a big downside to the kit lens, which I'm actually using to shoot this video, is that it's quite noisy when it's autofocusing and really slow. Now that's something that this lens does not suffer from. This lens uses the USM motor or ultrasonic, which is much faster and much quieter than the original kit lens, which means that this is great for film and photography when you want the focus to be really fast. Now, one big downside to this specific model is that they're not manufactured anymore. There is a newer model, but it's a lot more expensive. So, if you're interested in this lens, unfortunately, you have to pick up a used one. And of course, that means that the quality of the lens can vary depending on where and who you buy it from. The last lens I want to show you is a Tamron lens. It's a 55 to 200mm zoom lens, and it's great for those zoom shots, but it's also excellent for macro shots because it focuses at 1 meter, and using that 200mm lens on an APS-C sensor means that you can get some really beautiful macro shots as well as some cool zoom shots. Now, we'll say though that if you're interested in picking up a lens like this one, you really should have a tripod, because even the slightest of nudges means that this becomes really shaky. Now there are 2 downsides to this lens. The first one is it doesn't work on a full frame, and the second one is it's quite difficult to come by. It's a quite older lens, manufactured back in like 2006, 2007. But if you're lucky, you can find one of these for as low as $60. And there you have it. 3 cheap, very affordable, perfect for beginner Canon lenses under $100. You have the 50mm lens, you have the slightly older 28 to 80mm lens, and then you have the zoom lens, the macro lens, the 55 to 200mm beast. Now, I personally would definitely recommend the 50mm lens. It's a great lens to start with. It's recommended by many as your first prime lens that you really should have in your bag. It's great because it forces you to move your feet as a photographer, and that's something that's very important to learn early on, that to not be too stationary, to actually move around in your space and to find the good angles by actually moving around. Because that way you learn that operating a camera is not about standing stationary and just taking pictures from one specific spot, but it's actually about moving around and finding that beautiful shot, that shot that you really want. And that's the same if you're working in a studio. If you ever see a professional photographer, you will see that they will never be standing in one specific spot. They will actually be moving around, even if they're just located in a small studio. All right, thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in any of these lenses, you'll find links down below. I really appreciate if you leave it a like or if you leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this one, subscribe to my channel. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.